today we're in Clonony Castle with the lovely Rebecca, who actually lives in this castle, which is an amazing place for those of you that haven't been here or haven't been here yet. Exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit, Rebecca, about the castle and how did you actually come in the middle of nowhere and own a castle, or buy a castle?
Well, my husband got drunk on Guinness when he was visiting Ireland and bought a big castle here in the Midlands. And it took 10 years to restore that. But it was probably a good move financially because it scared him sober. We saved a fortune in Guinness. We put it into the castle. But because it was so big, once the kids had moved up to Dublin, I wanted to have someplace smaller. And he didn't want another project. You know, when it was his idea, it was fine. When it was my idea, it was not a good idea. So he said, over my dead body. I said, well, it's a tempting offer, dear. But I had some event horses and little money of my own. And so I sold my horses and I bought the castle with my own money. And my husband, when he died, he wanted to be cremated, and he now is on the bookshelves in between a few of his favorite books. And I said, be careful what you ask for. And I only tell the story because I know he would love it. He had a very dark sense of humor.
And how long have you been here, Rebecca?
I've been here 25 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Now the first 10 years, I would live here in the summer while I worked on it. And then in the winter, when it gets below 10 degrees overnight, the mortar won't set. So I was forced to take a few months off, and I would usually just close the gate and go someplace warm, like Florence or the south of France or something lovely.
Yeah.
Since I moved in, finished the structural work, brought my furniture in and my shoe collection, and I haven't left since because, you know, in the winter you have to keep the fires going. And in the summer, I'm just too busy with the gardens and the visitors.
Okay. That's, and when you say like the mortar, it's like, did you do a lot of the work yourself?
All of it.
Really?
Yes. Now, the only thing I did have, there was a fellow who apprenticed with me for a couple of years, and he got to be very good. And so I used him to repoint the face of the castle because we had to use, obviously, scaffolding. And scaffolding is something you really can't do all by yourself. Well,
okay. Yeah.
I said that. Now, one of my friends did all his scaffolding alone, but he's 6 foot something or other and quite strong. I wasn't going to do that.
So do you find it as it sounds like it's almost like a lonely existence, like compared to living in an estate or living with loads of houses around. Do you find it quite lonesome, or do you prefer being that way?
Well, because of being writers, my husband and I always found a place that was quiet and off the beaten path, because you just, people drop in on you because they think, oh, you don't work for a living, you just write. That's easy. And so, no, I've always been in isolated places, but then I'm always busy on the weekends in the summer. I have visitors all the time. Most of my best friends are people who drove by and went, oh, look, a castle, and just pulled in.
Wow. And is this open to the public? Can the public come in and have
Yes, I'm open for casual visiting type tours, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, noon to 5, from May to the end of October, and then any other time by appointment. So if you call me, and you give me a little advance notice, and the weather is permitting, I'll take visitors even in dead of winter.
Okay, brilliant. Because it is like a lot of us wouldn't live too far away and would have no idea that there's a castle in the middle of a field.
Yep.
With I'm assuming an amazing history behind it.
Oh yes.
At some stage.
Yes.
And when you look at what's left now, is is this the whole grounds of the castle? Is there something missing? Is there a wall missing there? Or
No,
is this
what's
the whole...
missing there is the moat. There was a moat that was 3 to 4 meters wide and 3 to 4 meters deep, so you weren't crossing that in armor. And it was fed by the Brosna River. That's only 200 yards away. So we had live water, and that way you could have fish and all kinds of things, you know. But during the reapportionment, of course, they gave all that land back in between the river and here to the farmers. And of course, the farmers, the first thing they did is fill it in. And so the moat just died.
Ah, so the wildlife would have
Yeah.
gone with it.
Yeah, so. And then in about the 1960s, the farmers from around here, they all got together because this was just rocky, undulating land. And they brought in topsoil and leveled it all and then planted a meadow so that they could have big festivals here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had music festivals. Some of the most famous Irish musicians played here, the Wolf Tones.
Wow.
And I've had several people come and say, oh, I have an old poster of that. I must dig it out for you. But nobody's ever come back with one. But
I'm sure if anyone's listening or watching, I'm sure that there must be something somebody might have that would love to see, that Rebecca would love to see. That would be brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll take a little trip inside and just have a look at the inside and see what a real castle actually looks like, lived in. Here we are inside in this fantastic setting. It's absolutely amazing. And how much of, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's genuine and some that would be rendition, but how much of this stuff is actually genuine, or would some of this stuff have been here when you came? Was it full of like pictures and on the walls, or?
no, it was a herd of cattle.
Really?
Yeah, I have a picture that was given to me by a friend that has a cow looking out that window. So I always tell people, no, it was cows that lived here and they had absolutely no sense of interior decor.
So basically this was just a shell, it was just left?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just a stone shell with a bunch of holes in it. And I made holes into windows and fireplaces and, you know, doors.
Wow. And then the stuff that's in it, is this stuff that you've brought in to reflect the time of this particular castle, or is it stuff that you've had? Or?
Well, see, this was, I mean, you know, from the big castle, I had 30 rooms, well, 30 into 3, don't go.
Yeah, that's that.
So I thought I would keep the things that worked here, and then the other things I sold off to pay for the rest of the work. So it kind of ended up financially pretty neutral.
Okay. And just coming in as a blank canvas, did you have to plan, like write a plan of what you were going to do? So all of this obviously is existing. Well, you didn't touch the existing walls. You just added maybe shelves or roofs and things like that. So
that's all you can do. Yeah. Wow. You see, in the Neo-Gothic revival, he plastered almost everything in this room because there was no heritage, you know, to overlook things. But because he did it with, when he put in the big windows, he surrounded them with red brick, which is completely wrong for the period, of course, and it's crumbling. So there's parts of the plaster I had to keep, and the rest well, see, all of those walls were all plastered, but over the years, it'd been 100 years empty. So most of that had fallen off.
Wow, but it just shows the workmanship with it's solid, completely solid.
Yes, because for 100 years there was no roof on this at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how something like that just sits idle. Like people obviously going up and down and driving past it, and it doesn't.
Well, for such a long time, nobody wanted an old castle like this because they were cold. And they wanted a little cottage where a fireplace would warm it. A fireplace here doesn't do much unless you're sitting on it, which is why I have the two chairs. Psychologically, it helps, but apart from that.
Yeah, and it's just strange. I mean, do you miss the cons of like a modern house, which you have your little kitchen units and you have your microwaves and you have your bits and pieces and your instant oils? It's a very different, like even coming in, it is really stepping back in time. It's a completely different.
Well, I'm written up in TripAdvisor saying this is the best castle in Ireland because it's lived in just like they did in the 16th century. So the reception rooms on these 2 floors I've kept as original as possible. When you get up to the private residence, you've got a Cuisinart, a dishwasher, internet, Sky Plus on demand, you know.
So you're the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
As you do it.
I have 2 kitchens and 2 bathrooms because it's 30 steps from one kitchen to the next. So when I put in the private residence, when I moved in, you know the Midnight Munchies? Oh, geez, it's 30 steps down and it's 30 back up again. Oh, I'm not that hungry. So the first week, I put in a snack kitchen. You know, it's just the essentials. Ben & Jerry's, microwave popcorn, stuff that gets you through the night. Oh, and a full bar.
The essentials. If only they had popcorn, 1600s, it'd be laughing. But one thing I do notice in here is how quiet it is. You know, like when you're in a normal house, it must be just obviously the thickness of the walls and
the barn walls. You know, they stop a lot of the noise too.
Right, yeah, because obviously there is traffic, but it's very little. But the glass in here now, would that be double glazed or can it be?
We weren't allowed to double glaze, but it's the heaviest single glaze that I could get, and it's very heavy. Yeah, especially when it's that big. That was a tough one to do, of course, because it had to all be hand cut to fit.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a bit of a nightmare. But there's a very good place in Ballinasloe that did all my glass. They're amazing.
So as a writer, I can imagine how just sitting in here away from the world, close the doors, it's quiet, it's going back in time. The inspiration of that must be huge for writing and
yeah,
going in.
Yeah, it is. Well, because I've always worked from home, every place I've ever lived, not necessarily all that comfortable and convenient, but always aesthetically really pleasing, because, you know, I was there 24 hours a day. Yeah. I wanted it to be nice, and I am picky.
And what do you find then when guests come in? Like, what's the usual reaction from somebody who actually walks in the door and sees this?
Wow. Wow is the most common word, but a lot of people ask me when they look around, and do you have running water? Like I'm the village idiot, you know? I said, yes, I have Sky Plus on demand. I have all these things, but they're hidden. You know, and people ask me if I have electricity. Do you have electricity? There's lamps sitting on the sideboard. Of course, they're not lit. Maybe they think they're just there for looks. I don't know. But
yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. I would highly recommend anyone come just to walk into a real life lived-in castle. It is a bit surreal. It's like, because you see it on the telly all the time, you go, oh yeah, but when you're actually here, because most castles are just empty, you walk around, they're just ruins.
yes.
And you wonder, oh, what would that be like? Or how did they live? But here you can actually see, it's like, wow, this is different. And there's part of me that like, oh, I could really stay here now and just, it's quiet, it's chill, away from people. It's, I don't know how long it would last. In long term, obviously you've done it for years, so it must be be something that...
Yeah, but I like living alone. And of course, Irish women, they can't believe that I live alone here. And aren't you frightened? And I said, well, no, I have a full-time guard. Oh, that's good. But aren't you afraid of the ghosts? I said, well, that would be the guard.
Because I did read somewhere that it's supposedly, I suppose, are all castles supposedly haunted? Is that the thing with castles? Or
Any
old houses?
castle worth its salt has at least one ghost. The big castle had 4. 3 very nice ones, 1 terrifying thing. But no, the guard here has been seen by a lot of people, and he's seen walking the parapet at night in full medieval armor on a kind of a pale green light. And for the first 10 years or so, people would ask me if I ever seen the ghost, and I'd say, well, no. But I don't have much luck with men, and I don't think he fancies me. But one time, a fellow came, he's a physical psychic, and he has a television series out of London called Ghost Circle. And they take him someplace. They don't tell him where he is, not even the country. Of course, he usually figures that out pretty quickly. But he walked in the door and he said, wow, we're going to have a great night. I've already met your guard. I'm not sure if he's to keep people in or keep people out, but he's definitely a guard. And if you like, I can make him appear tonight. And I promise it won't be scary. And I said, well, I'm not afraid of ghosts. So, yeah, it's fine. And he did. He walked back and forth. And after a while, it was almost like a little sort of transparent raincoat if you threw it over your shoulders, and when he'd turn, you'd see it kind of swish behind him. And then he stopped in the middle and said, now, what do you see? And I said, well, he's a head taller than you, and he has ginger hair, kind of shoulder length, a bit scraggy and thin, like his beard, sort of a bulbous nose, like maybe he drinks a bit. I mean, I could see every detail. And so when the fellow left, he said, now it'll be interesting. Now he's met you, maybe he'll come see you again. Well, years went by. No. But then one night, I was getting ready for Halloween. We used to do a big thing for Halloween for the children. And I was setting up all the different areas. And God, I was exhausted when I came in, and I thought, oh, I can't even think about dinner. I'm just going to rest for a while. So I fell asleep. It was still daylight, no TV on, no lights. And when I woke, there was this odd sort of ambient light off, like off a television, and a man standing in it. And I thought, my God, there's a man in my room. How did he get in here? What am I going to do? And he slipped through the curtain. And I thought, well, what do I do when he comes back? Because there's nowhere to go there except up the steps to the roof. Oh, it's the guard. It's just the ghost. So I went back to sleep.
So at least you're not on your own. That's the good thing. So, and I know that you do this place amazingly for Christmas as well. You do a lovely, like a little grotto, and have a Santa. Yeah,
and Santa's very happy to come here, because he can just land his reindeer on the roof, nice flat roof there. And so we usually do the Sundays in December. And we have a little Christmas shopping so that when the kids are talking to Santa Claus, the mothers can sort of browse around.
Ah, lovely. So that happens from all through December, every Sunday in December?
Yeah, usually. It just depends on how the Sundays land. But yeah, we try to keep it going. And my Santa Claus is just, he's very lovely, and he enjoys being here because it's not like your shopping mall Santa. You know, this is something very unique. I mean, he wouldn't just go anywhere, would he?
No, exactly. So again, for people who, you just tell us, you know, where you are and when you're open and when people can come and visit.
Well, now for the Christmas, the Sundays, it's just Sunday afternoons. And I get, you know, like I say, from noon, but it's after church. And we always put it in the church bulletins. So it's the best publicity, because when people are bored with the sermon, they start reading.
Not that they do, but I'm sure they...
I mean, they're all dressed up. They might as well stop and see Santa Claus.
Absolutely. And this castle is actually Clonony Castle. Is that the right pronunciation of that?
Yes.
So you can Google that. Use your Google Maps. And then we can. So it's from, when is it? Fridays to Sundays? Is that when you take in your visitors?
Yeah, in the summer, from the 1st of May to the end of October, weather permitting. If it's really windy, the gate, I don't dare open the gate, because it'll just slam itself into bits. But other than that, you know, I'm pretty much open. I used to say come in out of the rain. These days I'm saying come in where it's cool.
Yeah, it's been unbelievably warm the last couple of months.
Now when it gets really hot and sunny, I'll have no visitors, because everybody's gone to the beach. And then for the rest of the week, everyone looks like a strawberry. Because you people can't tan.
No, no. But listen, Rebecca, thank you so much for allowing us into your amazing home.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It really is something else, like, to come and, you can't really, we can talk about it, but you have to experience actually what it's like to actually take it on board. And especially with your knowledge and history, like, it just made the whole trip just fascinating. It's like walking back in time.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I love having children come, because if they see me living in real history that they can touch and they can look at, and even just reading a book in a classroom is more relevant to them, because now they know what history really can be.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to do that. And also, you don't own these castles, they own you. Because this castle will be here 500 years after I'm gone.
Yeah, and the legacy, your legacy will live on, what you've done, and someone else will add to it, and it will just...
Hopefully I'll be here haunting the place.
Well, there you go, we'll have to...
There's my plan. I'm not sure how Aiken feels about that, the ghost.
That would be an amazing interview in the future. With a real live ghost. But yeah, again, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure for your time and your knowledge as well, and allowing us into this amazing home. So, Clonony Castle, Google it. It's in Shannon Bridge, am I right in saying? Is this Shannon
Shannon
Bridge?
Harbour.
Shannon Harbour, I stand corrected. Google it, come down, drop Rebecca a message, and she'd be delighted to tell you a little bit more and show you around. So, until the next time, thank you so much, and thank you, Rebecca.